Hello everyone, I'm today's host. I'm Iris.
I'm May. I'm Donna.
I'm Albert.
I'm Winnie.
Okay, today we'll mainly focus on the video we watched in class. And so after watching the video, what do you think about it? Video.
I think the environment in the video is very good. Like the atmosphere is very energetic, and the students are also very active in the class. And I think there are many activities in the classroom that help the students to devoting themselves to what they are learning now. And I think the teacher also is one of the strengths. Like she's very into the classroom, and that's what also I think that's why the students also are very into the class. Yeah. And but I think there are too many repetition in the class. Like they do the practice of the rules of the classroom, and they do that for several times. And I think because there are many repetition, and it's kind of limited what they can learn during a one class session. Yes.
Excuse me, but I think they are just the kids, and what they need to learn is don't have to be very much. Yes, so I don't think the repetition will be a very big problem, because when we in the beginning of our learning English, and we always keep practicing like good morning Mr. blah blah blah, good morning Mr. What's your name, and we repeat it again and again.
So
yes.
what you mean is to play and learn at the same time.
Yes, and then repeat. Yeah.
So how about teaching adults? Does repetition also work in teaching adults?
I don't think when we teach adult, we don't necessarily have to use a lot of repetition or use such animated activities, because I think adults are better in logic thinking and analytical ability. So you don't have to use like games or this kind of physical movement to make the adults learn some rules or some other things. And in addition, I also think that adults might have higher motivation than kids, because like sometimes adults need English in their work, so they will have to like learn English really well. But for kids, they don't know that why they have to learn a second language. So you need to use a lot of activities to make them interested in the learning process. So that's why the teacher adopts a lot of like animated activities and this kind of repetition.
I found out that in the video, the teacher also often asks the children to pair up in groups. So do you think this kind of method is effective?
I think it's a good way to teach children at that age, because through this method, like by pairing and making them interact with each other, they can feel more involved and to interact with their peers. And I think children at that age, they care more about what their peers think. So for example, in the video, we saw that Julia was chosen as the class leader, and she went up and performed for the whole class. And instead of praising Julia, the teacher, instead of praising Julia, asked the classmates to do something for her. So I think like kids, they value what their peers think about them more. So this is a good way because they can feel more involved.
Then what about adults? Do peer work also effective in teaching adults?
I think yes, sometimes, but still it's not necessary. But if you like interact with your peer, you actually can like you can learn something from others as well, and the class wouldn't be so boring. Yeah.
But don't you think like conversation with for adults, conversation with other people, like pairing up is inevitable to practice like unrehearsed conversation that will be used in daily life? That's a question.
What's your question?
Don't you think it's more like it's inevitable to also use this way in adults?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's inevitable, because like in my learning experience,
it's not necessary.
it's not but the teachers always like they have to put different kinds of activities in the class. So in my learning experience, I more or less encounter this kind of situation when we have to pair up in the class.
But from your
Yeah.
experience, when you are a teen.
When you are a kid or as an adult.
Teen.
Am I an adult now?
Yes, you are.
I'm still having this kind of like pair activities in my class. So
How about teen?
You mean teenager?
Yes, teenagers. Because sometimes from the interaction between you and your peer and maybe I don't know, because when you are talking English in the class, maybe your peers, because they are very boring and they will laugh at you and they laugh at your performance. And it will.
I agree. I think pair work is also important in teams.
what?
So Winnie, your question is like what?
Sometimes the pair work is not always good for teenagers.
You
Why
mean some
not?
teenagers will laugh at the one who's speaking English in class?
They will think he's showing off or something.
But pair work is like not on stage.
I think it depends on how the teacher organized the class activity, like how the teacher organized pair works.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people always think that children have the advantage in picking up second language, but are there some situations that adults can learn the second language better than children?
I think it depends because there's the so-called critical period of learning acquiring a language. So like for children, like after maybe I don't know 5 or maybe 8, his or her ability of acquiring a language would not be as good, but his logical thinking and analytical ability is not as good as adults. So in that case, maybe children's learning efficiency will not be as high as adults. And that's what I guess.
I'm thinking that maybe they can use their, like, what do you say, logical thinking or analytical ability to better absorb some abstract idea instead in a foreign language. So, do you guys have any other opinions or reflections on the video or this chapter? Okay, now that's all for today. Thank you.